Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Game-Based Learning in the World Language Classroom. The why, what, and how. We're on section 3 of my book, The How. I'm Madame Sensei. I teach Spanish, French, and Japanese to high schoolers out here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. And if you want to talk about these games with me, help me tweak them, you can find me at the Minecraft Education Ambassadors or the Minecraft Teachers Lounge, the Duolingo Educators Network. I'm on Roxem and also studio-nemo.com. All right, we are going to wrap up my discussion of Clue, and I'm going to tell you what I did to play it online. We've been talking about all the different ways to play Clue, Cluedo, if you're in Europe, and these are just some of my ideas. So you remember our crazy remote adventure, right? Maybe you still have a remote class. I was constantly looking for ways to have students 100% engaged because it wasn't like this. It was actually like this. Everybody was cameras off and muted, and you couldn't get them to say anything, and you didn't even know if they were away from keyboard or whatever. So when I was adapting all of my games for online, I absolutely wanted everyone to be involved every step of the way. So, first thing was that whenever the dice is rolled, everyone has to move, I decided, because at least the students are counting and they're involved. Okay, so how do I pass out the cards in an online environment? And so this I really struggled over. And my district gave me a choice between Zoom and Microsoft Teams for our online portions of the class. And at the time, Teams did not have a poll option, so I decided on Zoom because I could use that poll option. So this is what I came up with. I gave the students a poll, choose your murder weapon, and there was a pen, a book, an eraser, piece of paper, a pencil, a ruler, and then choose where you did the dirty deed, and I had to scroll down here to show you that, okay? On the bed, under the table, in the car, next to the desk, in front of the door, behind the chair, and then students would just have to keep track of what they chose. But this way the students kind of chose their own cards. All right, now my next challenge was I needed an interactive whiteboard. Now there are a lot of whiteboards out there that say they're interactive. And what that means is, yeah, more than one person can write on it. What I wanted was more than one person able to write on the board and manipulate things on the board at the exact same time. So this was really hard to find, and I did find something. It was InVision, but they are sending me a lot of emails right now saying you better get all your stuff off because we're folding. So I'm not going to recommend them. All right, but like here is Teams now has a whiteboard, but I don't know if it's truly interactive or not because I'm not online right now. So I will experiment with my students and see if two people can write on it at the same time. It might be that they have to wait their turn, which is no good, absolutely no good. So if nothing else, if you're in Zoom, you can do the annotate feature and have students make marks, but I needed them to move the playing pieces. So I went online and I found a free clip art of the playing piece, and I just copied it a million times. Here we go, I'm copying it, okay? So then I could color each one in, and I had classes with over during the pandemic, it was over 25 students. Now I've got classes with 36. So I copied it a million times, and then I colored them all in. And when I ran out of colors of the rainbow, I thought, well, I could use all the weird stuff. I could use taupe and mauve and stuff, but I'm red colorblind. And so sometimes it's a little confusing for me when the students say that they're orange and I think that they're red, or they're brown and I think that they're red or whatever. So I decided, oh, okay, I'm going to teach them all the words for striped and polka dotted. So, I've got my 2 polka dots here. I got striped. I finally decided, hey, this one's going to be upside down. Here's a rainbow. Oh, look, this one's invisible. Okay, so I could teach them the word for invisible. So here's a plaid I made. All right, so those are the playing pieces. And then here is my game board. And of course, because I had so many weird colors here that I hadn't taught the students, I made sure to have supports on screen for the students so they could remember how to say polka dots, so they could remember how to say dark and light, how they could remember how to say plaid, striped, okay, all that kind of stuff. And then I'll explain the board in a second. Because my next thought as I was designing this was I need a maximum amount of accusing, because that's when the students are speaking. That's when they're actually applying the language. So instead of having the students go towards rooms that were far apart, I just decided I was going to make a very simple square. And every time you got to, because I'm calling this Clue-O-Lingo, right? Every time you got to the creepy Duolingo picture, you could accuse someone. So I wanted them to be able to get to this easily and accuse each other easily. So here are my rules. These are very easily tweakable. Please do whatever you want with it, but you got to tell me what you did with it, okay? So I told the students you can only travel in a straight line for each dice roll. You could change between the dice rolls. So here, if they decide to go this way, they can only go this way. All right, but then maybe the next roll they can go this way. Okay, so when I roll the dice, you choose your own direction to travel in. Just for that dice roll. Everyone moves at once, because then at least they're all counting. Even though they had their things muted, I would count aloud as we roll the dice. Aim for a clue square, so you're going to aim for one of these Duolingo squares. You have to move in a straight line. You might overshoot it. So I don't know, here, let's say you're right here, and I rolled 3, so you go 1, 2, 3. Oops, you overshot it. That's okay, because maybe next time I'll get a 1 and you can go back. Because I was rolling on line for everyone. I have my dice roller. You might overshoot it. On the next turn, you can change directions. Okay, so here again, so just showing, I put that all together. But you could move this way, you could move this way, but you can't move diagonally. If a dice roll takes you precisely to a clue spot, you can accuse anybody you like. If you guess wrong, they're going to deny it, and they have to use the negative sentence construction. Keep track of how many people choose what. I'm going to drop the screenshot of the poll next to the game board to help you. And go to the website I put in the chat, because I put a chat that was taking them to the website. Choose a color, place it anywhere on the board, but not on a clue spot. I think that was all my rules for that. Okay, so I immediately took a screenshot, put it on the board so they could see, oh, there's 5 people who chose a pen, there's 3 people who chose a book, there's 3 people who chose an eraser. So my first reflection, and I'm going to talk about this in another episode, another total different, I'm going to make another playlist of videos about something, but I've noticed that when the cognitive demand is really great, you have to make everything concrete and very simple. So the game worked really well. The students loved it. But the first 2 times we played it, halfway through the game, I said, okay, ignore where you did the dirty deed. We're only going to concentrate on murder weapons. Because it was just too much of a cognitive demand for the students to juggle both those information in their head and trying to figure out, okay, let's see, somebody already said yellow, do you have the piece of paper? And they didn't, so I shouldn't ask that. That was too much for them. Even if they were keeping notes, it was just too much for them. So for the first 2 times we played it, it was just murder weapon only, not where they did it. And then the next thing that happened was, I want the students to be involved. So even when somebody guessed, okay, Pink, do you have the eraser? And Pink was like, yes, I have the eraser. It's like, I'm not taking Pink out of the game. I want them to keep interacting with their classmates. So it's like, okay, fine. Everyone knows Pink has the eraser. Let's keep playing. Pink, you can still keep playing. You can still keep accusing everyone. Because that's what you want, right? I was desperately trying to get them to produce language. So anyway, that worked passably enough for an online class where when I have the occasional remote thing, again, sometimes I do something with the library, we do it. It's fun enough. It doesn't last very long because there's other things I can do, but it's pretty good, just at least to teach the negative sentence construction. So that's all I have to say about Clue. And in our next episode, I'm going to show you how we play Battleship. Now, this is gamification. This is not game-based learning because you don't have to use Battleship to practice what I'm going to practice. It's just making the drill and kill much more fun. All right, so see you on the next time.